One of the things that I'm picking up, Fred, is that the Atlantic Council wants to focus a lot more on India than it has in the past. Do you want to just share your reading of the India growth story at the moment? If you see the promenade at Davos, it almost seems as if there's an Indian takeover of Davos.
So I'll try to say this short, but it could be an hour-long speech. I'm not going to bother you with that. But we're in an inflection point in history. It's a period of time as important for the world as the periods after World War I, periods after World War II, period after the Cold War. And no doubt the United States will be important in shaping this future. And the pieces you're talking about, the Middle East, the war in the Middle East, war in Europe, tensions around China. We haven't even talked about technology yet, but technological change as quick as it's ever happened. And in this period of time, at this inflection point, a group of countries are going to shape the future. What's new is India will be right at the top of that list of countries that's going to shape the future. We at the Atlantic Council want to both understand India more. There's no place you look in the world any longer where you don't find India present in business, in politics, in technology, whether it's Africa, whether it's Latin America, United States, of course, the Gulf, huge populations and also huge relationships there. So the bilateral relationship is going to be of increasing importance between India and the United States as the world's two largest democracies. But I also think understanding India and its role in the global south, which is a very positive role, and its role around the world, the Atlantic Council is going to devote a great many more resources toward that.
Fred, from your perch at the Atlantic Council, what is it about the India story that excites you the most, and what is it that concerns you the most?
First of all, I want to compliment Asha, and I think Asha represents something that's happening in the United States, which is the Indian diaspora. They're Americans, patriotic Americans. They're proud to be Americans. They have succeeded more wildly in the United States than, my parents were both German immigrants. The German immigrants did pretty well in the United States. I think India is the immigrant success story of the moment in the United States. India has not yet discovered its voice in terms of the relationship with India. And this doesn't mean they're not going to be loyal to the United States. Of course they are. But Italian Americans love working with Italy, and German Americans with Germany, and Greek Americans and so forth. The difference here is you have this incredibly influential diaspora at a time when India, and I'll answer your question now, what excites me about India? The demographics, the education, the technological know-how, the global presence. India is a country on its way up, no doubt about it. It's already established, but I think it's going to become a more important player over time. And it's a more important player that doesn't have a lot of people that are opposed to it being an important player. The global South, India embraces the global South. The global South embraces India. The United States wants to work with India. Europe wants to work with India. So I think that's good. What have I got that I worry about a little? I do think India, in a situation like Ukraine, has to make a value judgment. I think India, on the global stage, as it takes on a bigger global role, when it sees situations where a border is being wiped out, a country is being under attack, I think with global influence comes global responsibility. We in the United States don't always handle it properly, but it's going to be more and more difficult choices are going to be faced in the future, and it doesn't. There's nothing in it that frustrates me. I just think it's going to be a reality, and it's going to be interesting to see how India develops in that direction.